Kim Jun-soo and Yang Hae-ji, a couple deeply in love, found themselves cuddled up on a comfy couch, lost in each other's arms. Their feelings for each other were growing stronger, and Jun-soo wanted to take things to the next level. He tried to unbutton Hae-ji's clothes, but she stopped him gently, saying she wasn't quite ready for that step yet. Her worry hung in the air, afraid that their relationship might change if they went further. Jun-soo, longing for a deeper connection with his beloved, felt disappointed. The next day, they went their separate ways for a while. Jun-soo headed to college, while Hae-ji met up with her closest friends, Jin Se-yeon and Kang Eun-ji, who also happened to be her roommate, at a charming cafe. Eun-jae started gossiping about a guy who had heartlessly dumped his girlfriend after they got intimate. This conversation only added to Hae-ji's uncertainty and confusion about her relationship with Jun-soo. Later, at college, she ran into another friend, Hyun-woo Jin, who was like a protective older brother to her. They walked to class together and, by chance, bumped into Jun-soo and Se-yeon, leading to another heated argument. In the days that came after, the couple's 200th day anniversary was coming up, and Hae-ji was eagerly looking forward to celebrating it with Jun-soo. But her excitement turned to worry when she got a text from him, saying he was tied up in a group meeting at home. Suspicion crept into her mind, and she decided to go to his apartment to see what was going on. When she got there, she saw a pair of women's boots, a handbag, and a shrug outside Jun-soo's bedroom door. She was just about to open the door and confront the strange scene when Se-yeon unexpectedly showed up, leaving Hae-ji confused and bewildered. The next day, Hae-ji, Woo Jin, and Jun-soo met up at a cafe. Jun-soo said he needed to go back to his apartment for a group meeting and to work on assignments with Se-yeon. He left in a hurry after getting her text, but Hae-ji insisted on going with him. Later, at Jun-soo's place, Hae-ji accidentally overheard Se-yeon playfully asking Jun-soo for a kiss. She was taken aback, but thought it was just a joke. However, her worst fears came true that evening when she caught Jun-soo cheating on her with her closest friend, Se-yeon. Feeling heartbroken and devastated, Hae-ji went to a club to find some comfort, drowning her sorrows in alcohol. There she met a guy and got carried away in the moment, ending up at a motel with him. The next morning, when she got to college, everyone had already heard about her breakup with Jun-soo, and rumors were spreading like wildfire. She felt confused and lost as she walked around campus. Woo Jin came over and offered to take her out for lunch, and they were joined by Eun-jae. Later, at college, Hae-jae saw the guy from the motel and desperately tried to avoid him. Her actions caught Woo Jin's attention. In a surprising twist, they were put in the same group for a class project, along with Jun-soo and the guy from the motel, and Kyung-woo, who also went to the same college. Kyung-woo asked for Hae-ji's phone number, and she gave it without hesitation. When Jun-soo tried to step in, Hae-ji told him they were no longer together and left the classroom. Outside, Kyung-woo followed her, wanting to talk about something important, but she urged him to forget about the previous night, ignored his words, and walked away. In the next part of the story, Hae-ji comes across some troubling rumors circulating on social media. The rumors suggest that she went to a club and cheated on Jun-soo with a stranger. Later, Kyung-woo hurries over to Hae-ji and expresses his wish to be friends. However, Hae-ji seems uninterested and uncomfortable because of their previous encounter. To avoid making things more complicated, she decides to distance herself and walks away. After her class is over, Hae-ji waits in the hallway for Eun-jae, but she gets upset when she finds out that Eun-jae has to stay longer. While waiting, she notices someone following her, which sends a chill down her spine. Scared, she immediately calls Eun-jae, causing the person following her to hide in a nearby corner. Feeling overwhelmed by the backlash from the rumor, Hae-ji tries to avoid everyone and hide from the public's judgment. In the locker room, she runs into Woo Jin, who convinces her that she hasn't done anything wrong and doesn't need to hide. In the next part of the story, as Hae-ji is on her way to meet Woo Jin, she finds herself being followed by the stalker again. He pressures her into joining him for a drink even though she doesn't want to. Desperately trying to get away from him, Kyung-woo shows up and firmly warns the stalker to never follow Hae-ji again. After this encounter, Hae-ji and Kyung-woo have a drink together, during which she explains that she's not ready for a new relationship. As they talk, they discover a strong connection between them. The next day, as Hae-ji is heading to class, she unexpectedly sees Jun-soo and Se-yeon locked in a passionate embrace. After class ends, Jun-soo tries to talk to Hae-ji and confesses that he still has feelings for her and wants to get back together. However, she responds coldly, telling him that she's now with someone else. Later, while having a meal with Kyung-woo, She confides in him about her ex's persistent interference in her life. When asked, Haiji reveals the painful truth. Jun-soo cheated on her with her best friend and falsely blamed her for it. Seeing how sad Haiji was, Kyung-woo suggests that she should show her ex-boyfriend that she's better off without him. Haiji is eager to do it and comes up with a plan to act like she and Kyung-woo are a couple in front of Jun-soo. The next day, during a group project, they walk up to Jun-soo holding hands, although he's not convinced. But Kyung-woo does a good job convincing Jun-soo with their made-up story and asks him to stop bothering Haiji. After class, Kyung-woo proudly walks with Haiji by his side, and it makes her ex-boyfriend jealous. As the evening comes, Haiji walks home, and to her surprise, Jun-soo follows her closely, begging for another chance. He apologizes sincerely and promises not to make the same mistakes again. However, Haiji remains doubtful and doesn't trust his words. Just then, Eunja shows up and firmly tells Jun-soo to leave. The next day, when Kyung-woo notices Jun-soo following them, he takes a bold move and kisses Haiji. After Kyung-woo leaves, Jun-soo approaches Haiji again, apologizing and saying that his involvement with Si-yeon was a one-time mistake. This time, Haiji is clever and records what he says. But their conversation is suddenly interrupted when Si-yeon shows up, hears the recorded conversation, and gets furious. She slaps Jun-soo and storms away. A few days later, Kyung-woo looks for Haiji and asks why she hasn't been in touch recently. She tells him that she feels better after dealing with Jun-soo. In response, Kyung-woo asks her out, but Haiji declines, saying that she's not ready to date anyone right now. The next day, Haiji meets Kyung-woo for lunch. While they enjoy their meal, Kyung-woo playfully flirts with her and keeps trying to convince her to date him. But Haiji's interest is still hard to pin down. In the next scene, Haiji sees Jun-soo with another girl. Meanwhile, Eunja comes up to her and tells her that Jun-soo has been trying to impress the freshman, pretending to be really nice. She warns Haiji not to fall for guys who act overly sweet to everyone. Later that day, Haiji decides to go on a coffee date with Kyung-woo. During their outing, Eunji unexpectedly joins them and is surprised to see them together. It turns out that Eunji and Kyung-woo are in the same department. A little while later, Eunji gets a phone call and leaves, giving Kyung-woo and Haiji a chance to go to a quieter place. They find comfort in a park, enjoying ice cream and music. As they talk, Haiji sadly admits that she still has trust issues. Kyung-woo comforts Haiji by telling her that her first relationship failed because her ex was unfaithful, and it wasn't her fault. He also assures her that he's different from Jun-soo and asks for a chance. Just when it seems like Haiji might be starting to trust Kyung-woo, she unexpectedly sees him with Si-yeon at a cafe. She confronts them, wanting an explanation, only to find out they are just working on assignments together. As she walks away, Kyung-woo follows her and apologizes for the misunderstanding. After their talk, Haiji opens up about her deep insecurities and shares that Si-yeon is the girl her ex-boyfriend cheated on her with. That night, she meets up with Woo-jin and tells him that she's starting to have feelings for someone but is scared of getting hurt again. Woo-jin advises her to take her time and get to know the guy better before making any decisions. The next day, Kyung-woo goes with Haiji to the library, and they have a close moment together. As he walks her home later, Kyung-woo tells Haiji that he won't push her into anything until she's ready to be with him. The following morning, Haiji gets a text from Kyung-woo, saying that he'll be busy studying with Eunji for upcoming exams. A few hours later, she goes to the cafe to meet Kyung-woo and feels heartbroken when she sees Eunji holding his hand. To make things worse, later that night, Kyung-woo helps Eunji get back to her apartment. In the days that follow, Haiji keeps running into Kyung-woo with Eunji and feels very sad about it. Meanwhile, Woo-jin shows up and takes her to a park, where they have drinks and talk about their high school days. When Haiji gets back home, Eunji asks if something is bothering her, but Haiji just says she's tired and asks her friend to leave the room. The next day, Haiji runs into Kyung-woo, who tells her he's sad because she's been ignoring him. When he asks why she's acting strangely, Haiji straightforwardly tells him that she doesn't want him in her life anymore. Not knowing the reason behind Haiji's sudden change, Kyung-woo keeps trying to convince her. But their conversation is cut short when Woo-jin arrives and firmly tells Kyung-woo to stop making Haiji uncomfortable. He takes Haiji's hand and walks her away. Later that evening, Haiji feels like someone is following her, making her uneasy. Just then, Woo-jin shows up and accompanies her on her way home. When they reach their destination, he confesses his feelings for her and gives her a thoughtful gift. Woo-jin assures Hae-ji that he'll patiently wait for her response and promises to respect whatever decision she makes. A few days later, when Hae-ji runs into Kyung-woo, it stirs up emotions that make her upset. As a result, she decides to have a meal alone outdoors. On her way back, she comes across a drunk troublemaker who harasses her and pushes her down. Just in time, Woo-jin arrives and bravely steps in, protecting her from harm. Later, he takes care of Hae-ji's injuries and comforts her, showing her a lot of care and attention. When Hae-ji gets home, Eun-ji confronts her and expresses concern about their friendship. Despite Hae-ji avoiding her, Eun-ji tries to clear up any misunderstandings between them. But Hae-ji doesn't respond, leaving Eun-ji confused. Later, Hae-ji goes to a park, and Woo-jin joins her. She opens up to him and admits that she's been taking her anger out on Eun-ji. Even though she hasn't done anything wrong, she's afraid of losing Eun-ji if she can't control her anger and trust issues. Hae-ji also worries that everyone she cares about will eventually leave her. In response, Woo-jin makes a heartfelt promise to stand by her side and watch over her, as long as she doesn't push him away. Now, let's go back in time to a flashback where Hae-ji was being followed. It turns out that the mysterious stalker was actually Woo-jin. Now, back to the present, Hae-ji tries to mend her relationship with Eun-ji. They decide to spend time together by going shopping and singing karaoke. While they're out, Eun-ji discovers that Woo-jin has been giving macarons to Hae-ji, which makes her suspicious. Eun-ji straightforwardly asks if Hae-ji is dating Woo-jin, but Hae-ji firmly denies any romantic involvement. In a surprising turn of events, Eun-ji confesses that she has feelings for Woo-jin, leaving Hae-ji completely shocked. Later, while in class with Woo-jin, Hae-ji gets a text from Eun-ji, apologizing and asking her to forget about Eun-ji's crush on Woo-jin. To Hae-ji's surprise, she finds out that Woo-jin has hacked her phone and received the same message from Eun-ji on his own device. After class, when Hae-ji tries to talk to Woo-jin about the situation, he reassures her and says he still wants to be friends with her, even after her outburst. This makes Hae-ji feel relieved. Later that night, Hae-ji starts getting worried because Eun-ji hasn't come back home yet. She receives a text from Kyung-woo, telling her to meet him at the playground near her house. At the same time, Woo-jin starts texting Hae-ji, begging her not to go outside. Oddly, all of Woo-jin's texts mysteriously disappear by themselves. He tries calling her, but Hae-ji misses the call. In a flashback, we see Woo-jin finding a bag of lollipops meant for Hae-ji in her locker, left there anonymously. On his way to class, he throws the bag into the trash bin. Another flashback shows Woo-jin following Hae-ji on her way home. Surprisingly, someone else is also following her, but they quickly back off when they see Woo-jin. In the following flashback, Eun-ji tells Kyung-woo about a mysterious person in black clothes and a cap who has been stalking Hae-ji, but she doesn't know who it is. So, Kyung-woo decides to follow this stalker and ends up discovering two guys who look similar. Kyung-woo catches one of them, who turns out to be Woo-jin. However, Woo-jin explains that he was following the stalker himself because he wanted to protect Hae-ji. In the next flashback, we learn that Woo-jin didn't just hack Hae-ji's phone one time. When Hae-ji's phone ran out of battery, she borrowed Woo-jin's phone to check out a new restaurant she found on social media but forgot to log out. Woo-jin noticed a text from the stalker on Hae-ji's messenger and decided to keep an eye on her account to find out who the stalker was. In the present, Si-hyun talks to Kyung-woo about a guy from another department who has been leaving food in her locker. It turns out that this is the same stalker who had previously pressured Hae-ji into going out with him. In another flashback, we see the moment when Woo-jin realizes that Hae-ji's phone has been hacked, with his messages being deleted before she can read them. The stalker had also messaged Kyung-woo, leading him from the playground to the college cafe. Now in the current moment, Hae-ji is waiting for Kyung-woo at the playground. Suddenly her phone dies and the stalker approaches her. He openly admits to stalking her and sending her gifts. Acting strangely, he tries to convince Hae-ji to date him in a disturbing way. When she threatens to expose his confession to her friends using an audio recording, he coldly reminds her that her phone is dead. As he forcefully pushes her to the ground, Kyung-woo arrives just in time and steps in, pushing the stalker away. A heated argument follows, with Kyung-woo warning the stalker about possible legal consequences. The next day, Hae-ji is relieved and happy because the stalker issue is resolved, and all the misunderstandings are cleared up. Kyung-woo walks her to her classroom, and she kindly asks him not to worry about her anymore. Since Woo-jin hasn't been around lately, Hae-ji decides to contact him and sets up a meeting in the park. She thanks him for warning Kyung-woo about the stalker just in time. Even though they are back to being close friends, Woo-jin makes a big decision to take a break from the next semester and join the military. He thinks that distancing himself from Hae-ji will help him get over his lingering feelings. When Hae-ji hears this, she breaks down emotionally and finds comfort in Woo-jin's hug. The drama ends with Kyung-woo and Hae-ji rekindling their relationship. So the moral of this story is, if you want to win back your ex, don't hire a stalker, just get a good friend who's willing to follow you around and protect you from creepy admirers.